The Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We got 5 games here on a Tuesday, which includes the 10:30 late night game here between the Toronto Raptors and the Los Angeles Lakers. We still don't know what FanDuel and DraftKings are doing when it comes to their slate selection choices when it comes to these 10 p.m. games. We have some theories. We'll wait and see if those theories are proven correct on Wednesday, which is supposed to be a little bit of a larger slate. My current working theory here, James, is that if we have games less than 6 on the slate, they'll give us the 10 p.m. game as part of that slate. If we have games like more than 6, we might get the 10 p.m. games cut off there. So if there's 6 or more games starting between 7 and like 9, we'll get them. Otherwise, we won't. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes for Wednesday. Other news that came out right before we went live: Ja Morant done for the season. Torn labrum in his shoulder, had a shoulder subluxation, got worse, got some MRIs done. Turns out he has a torn labrum. His season is now over. Memphis is on this slate. They're on the road against the Dallas Mavericks here. They will be without Ja Morant, obviously, for the year. Big news there. Cade Cunningham also out of this slate here. Detroit, Cade supposedly escaping some serious injuries there to the knee, but is going to miss some time. Franz Wagner already ruled out for this slate. Jakob Poeltl is ruled out for the Toronto Raptors here. Dante Exum ruled out for Dallas. Derek Lively ruled out for Dallas. Wendell Carter Jr. ruled out for Orlando here already. We know that I think it was DeAndre Ayton, I believe, is questionable for this game. Doubtful. I think doubtful for Tuesday. So we could have some more value there. Pretty interesting slate. And then, of course, at the top, Lucas currently listed with a questionable tag. As always, LeBron and AD forever listed as questionable, but I imagine they will be suiting
AD probable.
Okay, so lot to pay attention to. Jaren Jackson Jr. also questionable for this slate. So a lot of news for just 5 games to come through for the Tuesday slate here.
Ton of news. You said it before we hopped on air, but no one on a back-to-back. Let's see. Game environments. Detroit, Sacramento is a 242. I don't know how Detroit's going to compete without Cade Cunningham, but they're going to try. Sacramento hasn't necessarily. Team, so. Yeah, Sacramento hasn't exactly been that good, so we'll see how competitive that one is. We have 2 games, John, of the 5 that has an 11 point spread or more.
Yeah,
so that's going to be interesting to see. Well, it'll be interesting to see how Memphis responds to this, how deflating that news has to be for a team that looks like they could maybe sneak into the play-in game, and then, see what happens when you have Ja, Triple J, and Bane in the playoffs, but obviously not to be. We'll see how that response is. Memphis, 7.5 point favorites, or 7.5 point dogs on the road. Minnesota, Orlando, obviously the worst game environment on the board. So
218.5 total there. Orlando getting 5. Detroit, an 11-point home underdog. The Knicks are 11.5-point home favorites. Dallas, an 8-point home favorite. And the Lakers, 5-point home favorites, 232 in your late night hammer right there. With just 5 games here, obviously it will be a little bit quick. Just to start off the top of the show, as we mentioned before, could have some weather problems coming up the East Coast here. So the status of the 5 p.m. live stream today is currently TBD. So those of you who are tuning in, look in the Discord, find us on Twitter. We'll make some announcements there if we're able to get that live stream in for everybody. But some big time weather again coming up the East Coast, going to be impacting us both for the next 2 days, hitting James first and hitting me on Wednesday. So we'll see what we got for everybody, but we will do our best to get the preview show out for everybody in a timely fashion for you all to break down these slates. And then again, we'll be in the Discord to help you guys out with any questions or answers you guys may have, should we not be able to get live for you all Tuesday and Wednesday, weather dependent there. Let's start it off. Point guard position again. Top guy Luka Doncic is questionable for this one at 11.5. Ja Morant's already ruled out. We got De'Aaron Fox at 93. Jalen Brunson at $9,100 here. Anthony Edwards at $9K. Obviously if Luka was out, Kyrie Irving, who's been very good regardless the last two slates, would be an elite spot. Where does Luka rank for you as the overall spend ups, and then where do the point guard top end position figure itself out for you?
I mean, Luka's right near the top, if not the top. I don't know if you need to go there. Anthony Davis gets a Toronto team without Pirtle, so we'll see Jonte Porter and Chris Boucher. I don't know if you've seen what our boy Chris Boucher has been doing the last few slates.
Give the man some minutes, right? Like,
he has been really, really good recently, but that's a matchup that AD should be able to exploit. So Luka's right up there with AD as probably like the top two. You mentioned the Kyrie factor here. Dude, Kyrie 64, 51, 53 fantasy points in the first 3 games. And obviously Luka wasn't in that second Portland game, but at this point, like,
he's at least a $9,500 player, right? Like,
we're gonna continue to do this, and we're getting peripheral stats like this out of Kyrie.
He's $100 cheaper after dropping 64.
I'm not saying I would rather play Kyrie than Luka, because I think we've seen games a lot more times that Kyrie has taken a back seat to Luka, where Luka's just going crazy. That even when Kyrie's going crazy, like, Luka's also usually going crazy. So, like,
but we have talked about the impact, obviously, when Kyrie has these kind of games.
Right.
Now look what you get from Luka.
Right.
50, 58, 56. That's not paying off 11-6.
Agreed. I fully agree. I'm just saying, like, I'd rather, honestly, like,
it's not a great game environment either, because Memphis now more than likely just gets blown out of the water here.
I know they're like, they have to be really down in the dumps. It's not going to be any better if Triple J is not there either.
Right, no rim protection.
Like, I'd probably rather get to Kyrie at this price. But, like, you also have De'Aaron Fox coming off really, really bad game after bad game after bad game. Seems like a ceiling spot here.
Yeah, 1 for 10 shooting against the Pelicans the other day. Is that the Alvarado treatment, you think, or the Herb?
Oh, that they weren't even in. Alvarado didn't even play in that game.
No?
They got torched. That was the Alvarado sitting. The Herb. We've actually seen that now 3 times. The Herb Jones experience, because that was McCollum. McCollum went for, like, McCollum had a 50 bomb in 3 quarters, and like, honestly, like, I might just rather play Jalen Brunson at this point than, like, anyone else at this tier. Look at I mean, again, I don't want to keep pointing to just OG being the reason, but their offense just looks so good with this new iteration. 121, 128, 116, 112 in 4 straight games. Brunson 45, 55, 41, 49. You can also play Ant. This is a loaded top tier point guard.
What we love about Brunson, obviously, is that in blowouts he's still on the floor.
Yes.
So when they inevitably beat Portland here,
yes,
it's gonna be a little bit different for sure. Where else are we going in this spot? Mid-tier range? Do you like any of the guards that we got? I mean, a 7 quickly up to 7K now. I mean,
I get it. He's been really good, and he just unfortunately had the RJ Barrett game alongside of the game that he was having, and then they didn't play the 4th quarter. So, like, I get the quickly price. It's not my favorite. Like, of the 7K guys, there's Simons coming off 38 actual, 62 fantasy points. He's off his minutes limit. If you think that he could do it again against the Knicks, then I would have interest in Anthony Simons.
I mean, we know the Knicks have struggled defensively. They're in at least the last month, Yep.
That has gotten slightly better with OG. They haven't allowed more than 106 points over the last 4 games. I think that's, direct correlation. Reeves is starting for the Lakers amidst this, like, whatever they're going through, the turmoil with head coach Darvin Ham and stuff, where
trying to get him fired.
they're blatantly trying to do something with this.
Is LeBron James a coach killer minus Eric Spoelstra? What do you think?
No comment. I'm not. I don't.
We gotta get our guy Corey Parsons on that. Is LeBron James a coach killer?
I will say there is few players with I'll say it like this: there's 2 players in sports that have more power than LeBron that move the needle more than
How
LeBron.
many
Right?
how many coaches has he gone through with one organization like this? The Heat was the only team he's ever been on where it was the same coach when he arrived and where he left. So,
And that coach is still regarded as like the best in the NBA.
right.
So yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a long list. I'm not again. I will not comment
I'm
further.
gonna text Corey. I'm like, Corey,
Uh,
here's your next short.
um, but I would consider Reeves 7,400. Now that he's starting and playing monster minutes. Jalen Suggs, D'Angelo Russell played a bunch of minutes off the bench for the Lakers the other day. Finally, I don't know if I'd future Raptor D'Angelo Russell maybe. They need another guard.
Guys just getting shipped around,
Yeah, he's inevitably getting traded.
Scoot still played 30 minutes in that game. Wasn't a great spot. Marcus Smart took 20 shots.
He
He took
was
16 shots a game before that. So
yeah, it's Marcus Smart
if
show.
y'all remember what I talked about Marcus when John Morant was out earlier this year, I said there's nobody there to check Marcus Smart in Memphis. It's not Boston anymore. And then he got hurt. He missed a long time. When he came back, Ja was already back. So, but I mean, no Ja could be Marcus time here. Yep. For better or for worse. I think Marcus Smart's out here chucking at $6,300.
I mean, for worse, but I agree.
Yeah, probably true. Probably true.
No, I mean, he's fine. He's fine. He's
Jaden Ivey with no Cade.
Yeah.
Who gets the bump? Let's check it out. Let's see. I can't imagine Detroit is, like you mentioned, they stand any chance of winning probably any games now for the rest of the season, since Cade Cunningham was literally on their shoulders, like carrying them to competitiveness in games they were still losing by.
I was gonna say he scored 41 in a game and it didn't matter. They lost.
Let's see. Points per game with Cunningham off the floor. Jalen Duran, Bojan, Burks, and Ivy, your top 5 there. Let's see. Where's Jaden at? Jaden Ivey, 25% usage rate. Burks, 26% usage rate. Bojan, 28% usage rate. 1.06 for Bojan, 1.06, so 1.01 for Ivy, 1.02 for Burks. Where's Durant? Durant's only down here. 22% usage rate for Durant, but less, just 0.97 fantasy points per minute. So Bojan seems to be a big benefactory of those guys being off the floor.
Yeah. I mean, I like Ivy at a fantasy point per minute, but like, does he play? What is the fantasy point per minute? Like,
yeah, it's over 1. But
right. No, I'm saying,
minutes.
Yeah, I'm saying like if he plays 27 minutes, great. Fantasy point per minute is 27 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. Do we think that they can stay competitive? I mean, Sacramento's been bad lately, so maybe this is a spot that they could keep it
competitive. Agreed. Fultz came back, but is on a minutes limit. No, excellent. Does Hardy play at all? No, not really. With Exum out, I was trying to see who would get the minutes, but wasn't Hardy? That's for sure.
It's never Hardy. Killian Hayes started the second half. Just gonna throw that out there.
Jordan McLaughlin back with Minnesota. Good.
Yep.
Getting some minutes. Getting some run. Anybody else here?
Killian Hayes. That's
sure.
it. He started the second half. He played 25 minutes. Yep. If you do want to predict blowout in that game, Marcus Sasser.
Sure. What do they get? Burks price tag. Where do they got him at? Where's our guy?
Not Burks.
54. I mean, gotta play him probably
20 minutes. If it's close, he'll play. If it's not, he'll play 20 minutes. So
yep. Desmond Bain 8,500. That's a good price tag.
It's a good price. Yeah, it's a good price tag.
Again, it was producing anyways there. So Talk Simons, Reeves, quickly Suggs, Barrett 65. Obviously coming off a ceiling game for him. I mean, I don't want to chase this.
I mean, what do you do?
If he goes for 37 again or 30 actual again, then fine. But I don't see that happening here.
Like, he's gonna be good for them, but it's just that just seems like an aberration.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, he's never like once or twice a year he does this, right? Like,
of course, 30, yeah. But he let's see, he's 27 was his season high before that.
yeah. To me, still dealing with Siakam, still dealing with Quickly, still dealing with Barnes. I don't see that.
Yeah, and now if Boucher starts, that's even more offensive-minded player.
Right. I guess THJ would be our guy then with no XM, right? Didn't have the greatest shooting day against Minnesota, but a better spot here against Memphis.
Yeah.
Shaden Sharp's 57, played 40.
Yeah, he played. Yep, off the limit. Off the limit. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be getting some portal against the Knicks, aren't we?
I mean, unfortunately, Chauncey took off the minutes cap off everyone and then just played everyone big minutes.
Right.
So,
but still, hey, he got 40, and now that was I imagine that was an OT game, right? I mean,
yeah, they won in overtime.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Simons played 45 and he played 40, so that's great. What did Brogdon end up getting in that game? Brogdon played 21, so Brogdon's to the bench, right? Like he's cooked. Kennard, he'll get some run here.
Probably starts.
You think he starts over Vince Williams?
They did it last game, and maybe it's like one of those situations where they both could start because we might not see Jaren Jackson or Santi Aldama, who are both questionable. Mm-hmm. Santi's actually doubtful, so either way, both will get run.
Mm-hmm. Duarte, nope. Grimes, not really getting any extra run there either. Anybody else down here? It's probably just Kennard, right?
Yeah, it's just Kennard.
Small forward, got LeBron James, 98. Scotty Barnes, under 9K, $8,700 here. Not a great game, obviously, against Golden State, but they won by a blowout, and RG Barrett did all the damage. Still probably too expensive, though, in Baines, where he's at. I mean, the last 4 games really haven't been paying off the price point here. And
that's right with the trade. That's right in line with the trade.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned OG I thought was too expensive. Still feel that way. I'm not paying $6K for OG and an OB. It's just too aggro for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Randall and Brunson are taking too many damn shots.
Dude, and then the peripheral, Hartenstein had like 20 rebounds a couple games ago. It's just he's a good player, and he was a great fit for the Knicks. Yep. They've won every game with him, but he's not paying off fantasy production.
Sure. Get Torian Prince here, playing a bunch of minutes still.
Yeah. Fine.
Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, one of these Dallas guys.
No Lively. No Lively, no Exum. So
yeah, all these Dallas guys are like Hardaway played 30 minutes, Green played 30 minutes, Jones played 30 minutes. Speaking of 30 minutes, Caleb Houston. Yeah.
We were wondering. So Chuma started that game, right?
They both started.
Okay.
Yeah, and Houston obviously 7 for 14 from 3 is like.
But Chuma played 38 minutes. No, he didn't do anything, but he played all the minutes here.
Realistically,
probably the reason that Banchero had such a great game is that he was starting with Chuma and Caleb Houston. So
yeah, this is obviously not a great spot for them. I don't think Caleb Houston's going to make 7 threes every time he suits up, right? But he's 4,700.
Yeah,
you can also, instead of playing them, you have Vince Williams 4,300, who's coming off his best game of the year, or I mentioned it to you. You have Zaire Williams at $3,600. Dude, if Memphis is down, let's say Triple J, we already know Aldama is basically out and Ja is out. I'm gonna plug Zaire Williams in to begin with at 3,600. Like, he's gonna be in my lineup already. And then it's just
the basis that he's playing 25 minutes, probably.
Yeah, that's before the Triple J news. If Triple J is ruled out, you can see a scenario where Vince Williams goes into the starting lineup.
Sure.
And then Vince Williams or Zaire, and then just like, but if Kennard's still on this minutes limit that they're keeping him at 22 to 24, who's Vince and Zaire are both playing 30. So 3,600 and 43 respectively. Memphis has really good value on this slate.
Didn't mean to skip by Bojan. He's 67.
Oh yeah, I don't know why we did, but
I thought he was more mid-tier, but I guess it's a small slate, so the player pool jumps out quickly. But definitely like Bojan. They played Livers and started Livers the other day.
Yep.
$3,700 for him.
They started him over Knox.
Would you give Livers a look at 37?
No, because you could just play Zaire for 100 less, or you can just. I feel like you can find the money to get Vince
Okay.
Like I know what you're saying, but
The minute ceiling feels maybe higher, but we don't know. Zaire could play 30 minutes here.
the minutes definitely in a competitive game has been higher, and Zaire has still outscored him. I feel like Livers is just one of those like guys, like very Tony Snellish,
Okay.
where he's just not getting you a lot. Not a lot of stats out there.
Power forward here again. AD 10-1 listed as probable. Gets Toronto with no Pirtle. This feels like a smash play. As we mentioned before, like maybe even AD over Luka. With the way this matchup is kind of trending towards.
I think so.
But you do have Banchero here. It's 45, 41, 45 minutes the last 3 games.
Dude,
really just. Hey, did you know this guy was a number 1 overall pick?
Yeah, I heard it was supposed to be Jabari Smith, and then it wasn't.
Did you know that Paolo Banchero was the number 1 overall pick last year?
So I've heard. I heard things are going pretty well for Orlando this year too.
Yeah. I mean, this is number 1 overall pick, dude. Free throws, elite. He's hitting 3s now. Triple doubled 3 games of how frustrated. Remember how frustrated we were with his inconsistent rebounding?
Yep.
Crashing the glass all over the place. 9, 10, 9, 12. I don't want to talk about what happened against Sacramento. He still had 54. 10.
It took him 10 games this year to get his first double-digit rebound performance. You want to talk about inconsistencies? And then it took him 9 games in between the next one.
Yeah.
So in his first 20 games, he had 2 double-digit rebounding performances. He has 3 in his last 4 games.
Yeah, 4 in his last 6. So listen, if you want to play Banchero here, it's fine, but it is Minnesota. It's a tougher matchup for him, But we've talked. I mean, he had 70 against Denver, which should have been a tough matchup, right? Like
in Denver with. Do you remember the team he had in
games?
Do you remember the team he had in that Denver game too? Like, it was him and Suggs.
Yeah.
Because everyone else was hurt. That was the game where they didn't play Cole Anthony, Franz got hurt, and like Gary Harris, I think, got hurt. And that they had nobody.
Yeah. So if you wanted to go there, I'm not going to argue against the number 1 last year's Rookie of the Year number 1 overall pick, just like doing what he's doing here.
He's gonna be, like Minnesota is kind of restricted when you think about them. Towns is gonna be guarding him. Like they can't, because you can't put Rudy
Towns
on.
Can't guard him off the dribble, right?
Towns can't guard him off the dribble. That was kind of my point. Like Minnesota is really good, but they are obviously there's an issue when this happens. When athletic 6'9" prototype star athlete player comes into town, and you're like, oh, now we have to guard him with Karl Anthony Towns, who's like flat-footed.
I mean,
so
they could switch Jalen McDaniels on him.
That's true. And you probably could, because you could probably put Towns just if Caleb Houston's standing in the corner all game,
to stand next to him, right? Like
you probably could do that. That's
probably what happens, right?
Yeah, because McDaniels is
we think he's pretty good defense.
If that's his calling card, I mean, if he has a calling card, he's defense. Right. He's a defense.
$100 cheaper. Julius Randle out here doing almost the same damn thing.
He has been so good. The Philly game, obviously, withstanding, they didn't need him. They won by 30. Which just goes to show you how
it's pretty ugly. But
he did go 1 for 11. Has been a freaking nightmare for other teams.
I mean, look at you. We're talking about Minnesota here, right? I mean, he went for 39-9 against them.
Just.
And then obviously this was inevitable. I mean, sorry, Washington, but you're not.
Yeah,
you are not stopping Julius Randle here.
Another power forward dominating Washington. You don't say.
You don't say. Randall's not playing well above $8,900. So Jeremy.
Are they like scared to put him at 9K?
Jeremy Grant. Is that the guard spot for Randall? I don't think so. Tamani Kamara.
They're scared to make him 9. Yeah, it's probably Tamani Kamara. That's probably true.
You got to put a rookie on Randall there. Good luck. That's not good. Siakam's at 8K. He's been good, but I don't know.
I mean, he was really good in that game, but again, 30 minutes.
37 face points. He's done that a couple times, right? 33 minutes, 30 minutes here. Like he had the foul trouble in this game. I mean, Yeah, Siakam's fine. I think I prefer the other guys over him, but
Agreed.
you get
Agreed.
there. If Triple J is in, we know the usage rate without John Moran on the floor is crazy. But
You know what's
but
you know what's
but
coming. You already know. Just
but
say it. I already know what's happening in this game.
but I think the last time they faced Dallas,
It was the 5. No,
no,
so
he's okay.
there
So
was a 5 foul 13-minute, but he went nuclear in the
yeah,
other game.
nuclear. He did.
It was the game
Yeah, this
prior. He
one.
had 5 fouls in 13
Yeah.
minutes or whatever it was.
This game. So he's had two opposite ends of the spectrums. Don't get in foul trouble, they can't stop him. Do get in foul trouble, he can't get on the floor. Kyrie and Luka driving into the lane. I mean, it's very scary.
And he doesn't have the luxury of at least 7 blocks and steals before he gets in foul trouble because he's not home.
Correct.
So look,
here it is. The floor, John Morant stats, just so everybody has them. I mean, my hope also is a little bit that like Marcus Smart maybe drives off Luka or Kyrie from like getting to the paint as often as they were before, but
he's gonna. This is gonna be the hardest play of the slate to figure out. You know why?
So Bane is 1.23, Jackson's 1.19. They're both 29%.
That's elite.
Yep.
It's both elite. What's gonna happen is we have Jaren Jackson at $7,700. Anytime Jaren Jackson's under 8K, he is instantly chalk. Guarantee first run of ownership comes out.
Triple J with no John Morant.
Triple J is like one of the highest roster plays this league because he's power forward center and he's under 8K.
Towns the same price.
He is, and he's been super popular. The last
name recognition there. That's what that is.
Super popular.
People be Towns. They see the price tag like, ooh, like he's got a 60-point ceiling, which he like does last year.
Just not with Edwards. Not this year's.
Right? Exactly. Mid-tier range. Keegan Murray, Mo Wagner. Someone you were, I knew, pretty upset about the other day against Denver because they started him and you had no pivots and
at 8:30, or it was they announced it at 8:30 that Goga and Wendell Carter.
Now Orlando could go one of two things here. Wagner's obviously playing, like he's going to be playing, but like Gobert can't stretch cover Mo Wagner here, so this could be a Towns at the 5 game
or Naz Reid.
Or well, that's what I'm getting at. I wonder if Gobert doesn't get the run in this game because you remember we talked about this. Was it the Chet game where Minnesota pulled Gobert off the floor? One of those games he only played like 18 minutes.
He played 24 against Philly, 25 against Indy.
Maybe that was it. The Turner. I thought there was a game where Gobert didn't really get the full run, but maybe it was like 25 and not the 16. I was thinking
he played 29 against OKC, but he did nothing. Right. 10 and 5. He had 10 points, 5 rebounds, and they got torched by OKC.
So I wonder if this would be a game where they do like does Gobert play 35 minutes if Mo Wagner's around the 3-point line this whole game? I mean,
well, you also have to factor in Goga.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I'm trying to figure out who gets more run at center in this game. Do they want Goga out there to body up Gobert, or do they want to stretch the floor and basically make them take Gobert off the floor?
So Goga has been really good. He's gotten a lot of praise for his defense and his rim protection and stuff. So I guess it depends if like Ant and Cat are getting to the rim easily. Sure. You want Goga out there. The Mo Wagner power forward is kind of throwing me for a loop, by the way, because that has not happened all year. That's been interesting.
I mean, Naz Reid's power forward center here too, and obviously he's been getting some good minutes last, 3 of the last 4 games, some big time production. So
this happens.
I know, so and then we bite, and he gives us this game when we play him, right? He gives us.
I mean, dude, he's such a good fantasy point per minute guy. When he gets 25 minutes, like he's such a good fantasy point per minute guy.
Yep, I agree.
Who would you rather play, Naz Reid or Mo Wagner? They're the same play. It's the same play, $600 or $400 apart.
Probably Mo Wagner.
Is it
not?
I think
I want to play Mo Wagner. I feel like it's more secure playing Mo Wagner
because there's only him and Goga
Yeah.
versus like Towns, and if Towns and Gobert both stay out of foul
I
trouble.
mean, we've
it's like,
seen games where like Nasri doesn't get on the court, right? Like, I don't know. Am I wrong? Do you feel differently?
I feel like they're so. I feel like this is a Spider-Man meme if I've
I
ever
just
seen
don't
one.
think Orlando can win this game if they're playing an inside post game. I feel like they need Wagner on the floor to stretch and open up driving lanes for Banchero.
It wouldn't be the worst thought because that as long as if you take Rudy away from the rim, that's obviously best case
Right?
scenario.
So, like, the only way to take him out, Goga's, I mean, you play a high pick and pop with Goga, but you're still going to get Gobert dropping back.
Yeah, the drop, and yeah, Gobert just plays drop, so it's.
But if Wagner's out there, he can't drop back because Wagner will just nail a jump shot in his face.
I know. It's so close. I think they're both. I actually like them both. Truthfully, I was gonna say Nas, but you bring up good points.
I mean, the
So
coaches
I'll
don't
lean.
always listen to us, unfortunately, James. So
I know. No, I know. I'll lean, and it might not matter because we have Chris Boucher 4,500 down here.
no, yeah.
Who's
Are we? Are we doing it? Are we going to go back to the Boucher well? G League MVP 2018.
Here's what I think happens. If they don't start Chris Boucher.
Do they have Kem Burke still on their team?
No. I think they start this Jonte Porter dude. At $3,100. He's a center. He's center only, $3,100. But I'm unsure how long they can do this thing with Jonte Porter. There's just no way Chris Boucher doesn't play. Give us at least 20 minutes. There's just no way. I refuse to believe without Jakob Poeltl that Chris Boucher can't play 20 minutes. I just refuse to believe it. Because it's not just Jakob Poeltl anymore. They traded Achua, and they didn't get a big back.
Jonte Porter's brother is Michael Porter Jr.?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Do they look alike? They do. They do have a little look-alike too.
Undrafted in 2019 draft.
Wow. Parent siblings, Michael Porter Jr. How about that? What the?
Yeah, good for them. Got two sons in the NBA there. I don't think this is great, but he was the SEC sixth man of the year. Jonte Porter.
Let's see what he was doing in the G League here, John. You know I'm a sucker for some good G League.
Chris Boucher, G League MVP 2018. I don't even know if it was 2018. I just say 2018, but it feels like it's been feels like that long we've been talking about Chris Boucher.
So last year, Jonte Porter in the G League, 11.5 points per game, 11.5 rebounds per game, 2.8 blocks per game, 35% field goal shooter.
Not good. For center, it's terrible. That's literally abysmal.
I will say,
does he wear boxing gloves when he's out there? Like what's he doing?
He is his brother 7 threes per game in the G League.
He made 7 threes per game?
No, did not make.
Okay.
Definitely didn't make.
I was like, how many was he taking if he shot 35%?
No. He made less than 2.
Right, so Keegan Murray, he is not. Got it.
I think they start Jonte Porter.
Okay.
They've been giving him run off the bench. I don't know what it is about Chris Boucher that teams do not want to start. Doesn't matter the regime. It does not matter. He's not going
to coach's coffee every morning, right? Like just something that every coach comes in and they're just like bad news, Bad
news. But either way, Chris Boucher is inevitable here. I'm playing him. He's 4,500.
All right.
There's no Poeltl. They traded Achua. Jonte Porter is the only option here. Like I'm playing Chris Boucher and nobody can say.
Can you just not play any of them? Because Anthony Davis is gonna wreck their lives. Did they call anybody else up with Poeltl out?
We'll look at the injury report.
Do we get like Thad Young playing here?
We could. There's a chance, but like, is that any better?
Yes. Thad Young's got old man NBA strength right now. How old is that guy?
Yeah, he's got to be 37, 36.
I bet you if you gave Thad Young the DeAndre Jordan minutes, we would get a double-double out of Thad Young.
Well, what we would get,
like
death
3,
taxes,
4 steals, right? Like,
dude, death taxes, Thad Young steals, inevitable
steals.
Dude.
Guy played 11 minutes for Detroit, 2 steals. He was out there. He's just like, man's a great pickpocket. Anyways, we could talk forever about old basketball players. Old. Thad Young's old now. Crazy. I got nothing else. Do you got anybody else down here?
No. Chris Boucher. Just play him.
Okay.
That's all I got for you. Play Chris Boucher.
All right, go to center. Again, AD there. So bonus against Detroit's at 10K. You could. I don't really want to go there personally.
He was having some big games before this blowout because they've been blown out by New Orleans every time they played. If they play each other in the playoffs,
sweep. Bet the sweep.
Dude, forget it.
Bet the sweep. I don't know what it is, but Sacramento cannot play New Orleans.
No, they cannot. But like, look at these games. These games for Sabonis before were actually insane.
Against Toronto, Orlando.
Dude, those are some monster games, dude. Those are some big games. And he doesn't come off the floor. So
I mean, he certainly could do it against Detroit. I'm not going to say he can't, obviously.
You could play AD and Sabonis in this. There's a lot of value. Memphis value, Chris Boucher. Dude, you love Chris Boucher. I don't know what you're shaking your head about. You love Chris Boucher.
I'd rather him play against. It was like Memphis.
I can't believe you're not. Yeah, well, obviously, Memphis is going to win.
Well, if I get to freaking choose my matchup for Chris Boucher, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, but like this,
we're just playing Hartenstein anyways, man. What's the point? 20 and 19 rebounds in 2 of the last 3 games.
Yeah.
I told you guys Hartenstein was coming back when he was backing up centers in Clippers all those years ago.
You sure did. No, you sure did. And now he's not only getting rebounds, it's 2-2-5 3 blocks, 4-2-0 3 steals, 4 dude, it's like. And they asked him after the game. He's like, "Yeah, I know I'm going to get a lot of money."
Like Mitchell Robinson couldn't do this, really? Like, what happened? Like Mitchell Robinson just couldn't move. I guess he just couldn't move.
I mean, I think like it's weird. I feel like sometimes it's weird because Mitchell Robinson is such a good defender, but he doesn't get stats. Right. Like
his rookie year, he did, and then Thibs was like, "We're not playing you anymore. We're just gonna."
You're gonna split time with Isaiah Hartenstein for the rest of your career.
Anyway, Hartenstein, absolute monster.
Yeah. Yep.
You like Goga? I'm fine going Goga. I just don't know. I just don't know how that's going to play out. Duop Reith played 41 minutes.
Yep.
Would you rather play Hartenstein or Duop Reith in that matchup?
I mean, Reith?
I mean, dude, we've gotten 2 of these games now out of Duop Reith.
We've gotten a bunch lately. I mean, 3 of the last 4 games that he's been healthy.
Yeah, 32 minutes in Sacramento. He didn't miss a shot off the bench when 25 and 9.
I know. That was Moses Brown. That was the first Moses Brown.
Yeah, Moses Brown had 11 rebounds in 14 minutes, and then Duop Reith broke the slate.
RP Moses Brown. He is out for a long time. I think he fractured his elbow.
Yeah, it's okay. He got that back from Dallas, so he's good.
Yeah. I would say Duop Reith. Dude, I'm telling you, there's good value on the slate. There is good value on the slate. Chris Boucher being the best, but there's some good value on the slate.
Do I pile back-to-back games, 24 fantasy points?
Yeah, he's been good. I mean, they just don't have I think Rashawn Holmes was active last game. Did he play? He didn't even play. They just gave Powell, and I think they just played Grant at the 5 because Grant Williams played in that game. So Powell's the only really big they have. So
yeah.
Not that I like want.
That is that's it. That's what we got.
Well, what would we do? I guess there is if Triple J sat.
So they started Tillman the other day.
So they flipped. First leg of the back-to-back, they started Biyombo. Yeah. Second leg of the back-to-back, they started Tillman, and now Tillman's just been exiled again. if there's no
Aldama, no Jaren Jackson.
yeah, would you play one of them, the starter? Just play the starter.
Probably play the
because then you don't have Triple J taking
what do they
minutes
do?
away from
Start
them.
Roddy? Then
no, they could do that. I think they start Vince Williams small ball lineup, especially because Dallas.
They go Zaire and Vince. You think?
Smart,
Bane, Zaire.
Kennard.
You think Kennard still starts?
Yeah, Smart, Kennard, Bane. One of the Williams.
They can go small versus Dallas. Dallas doesn't have a big front court.
It's Powell and Derek Jones, right?
Yeah, Grant Williams off the bench. I mean, they don't have a big front court.
So you could just theorizing, like if there's no Triple J Aldama, they have literally Biyombo and Tillman that can play the 5, right? So maybe you don't even need a center when if Dallas takes Powell off the floor, maybe it's just a bunch of small guys running around everywhere.
5.
Dude, Grant the 5, and then what? Vince Williams at the 5? Like you could just.
Well, Xavier Tillman's like 6'5" too, so like.
Sure, yeah, that's true. That's fair.
So, all right, let's build.
AD, right? Use him at. Well,
you can use Boucher.
Yes, it doesn't matter. You can use him anywhere. You know where you put AD? Put AD in the util because that's the 10:30 game, and then we have like Duop Reith or Hartenstein or literally anybody else at center that we want.
That's fine.
Zaire Williams.
Yeah, where's our Memphis guys here?
Small forward.
Zaire, small forward. Do you go Kennard or Smart or Vince Williams?
Smart. I'm a little worried about Kennard if he's going to be on that limit because I've played him, of course, but then it's 22 to 24 minutes, and that's all he played.
What's our spend up? Oh, it was AD. Are we doing double spend here?
We could play Kyrie. We could play Brunson. We can play Randall.
Do you like a Randall more than anybody?
We could play Paolo if you're like confident in him continue. Yeah, I mean, well, Wagner.
We had guards. Small forward, power forward. Don't really have.
Yeah, we don't have anything. We can't move.
The pivot to, I guess Kyrie it is. Kyrie.
We play Smart. That would be the only option.
Yeah, I got Smart there. There we go. Smart and sharp.
Okay.
Irving, Smart, Zaire Williams, Boucher, Reith, Sharp, Wagner, Davis. Example lineup for this 5-game main slate. Again, we'll do our best to be live at 5 o'clock Eastern time if we are able to do so. Otherwise, get us in the Discord. If you guys have any questions, find us there. Follow us on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Usernames there on the screen for everybody. Like and subscribe to the channel. We do shows every day here throughout the week for all sports coverage, betting shows, DFS, fantasy baseball is back in full swing here. NASCAR starting up. So subscribe to the channel, like the show, always get notified when we go live. James and I will be in the Discord throughout the day. If you have any questions, I'll be on the playbook. Till then, everybody, we'll catch you later.